Hello, everybody. I am Master Student Erdem Şahin from Istanbul Kültür University, Engineer Faculty, Civil Engineer Department. In this presentation, I will make a presentation of my article titled In Return for the Condo Unit Construction Contract and a Contract Proposal. We conducted this study with Mr. Assistant Professor Dr. Mehmet Uğural and Professor Dr. Heyecan Giritli. Introduction. Problem statement. First part, in return for condo unit. Second part, research method. Third part, result of and consolation. Depending on the supply-demand balance in the housing sector and the meet this housing requirement, the construction contract in return for the condo unit method is applied in the construction sector. The housing production number has decreased with the global economy and currency fluctuations experienced since 2018 in Turkey. In this article, although the third parties who buy apartments from the housing project are victims, to protect the interests of the landowner has been aimed to create a proposal construction contract in return for the condo unit. Definition of construction contracts in return for condo unit. The landowner will transfer the title deed due to the project progress at the rate of the sharing to the developer, and the developer will complete the construction within the contract period by adhering to contract and its annexes. Since there is no specific legislation for the construction contract in return for the condo unit in Turkey, contract is being regulated under the law of obligation, creating a debtor-creditor relationship between the parties. Applications in the world of the contract in return for condo unit. In Malaysia, the contract made in return for giving the landowner an independent section is called joint development agreement. In India, there is contract with the same name, development joint development agreement. In the Philippines, the equivalent of the construction contract in return for condo unit is called the joint venture or development agreement. Research method. Purpose of the study. Construction contract in return for condo units is the investigation of impacts for the landowner. Necessary precautions are taken and the adequate preparation of contracts between the landowner and the developer in Turkey. In this survey, these participants were asked questions for demographic and 23 multiple choice questions to determine in which area the problems are considered. 32 participants were answered questions direct to 53 participants. The participant experiences were also taken into account when analyzing the question answered by the 26 civil engineers and 6 architects. It overruled that the participants are considered in the middle and senior manager, that the majority of the participants were determined however 15 years of experience. Also, the majority of the participants work in the private sector. The questions directed to participants are main topics: sharing of the independent section, submission of material selection to the landowner's approval, technical specification and methodology, deed transfer, supervision of the work to be done by the landowner, force majeure, amendment of the contract. Penalties and collateral in the contract. submission of material selection to the landowner of approval, work schedule, evaluation of construction contract in return for condo unit under the law of obligation, contract form. Analysis and findings. The survey can be defined as systematic data collection technique by asking questions to the research people who form a universe of sample depending on the hypothesis or question determining a particular subject. Scale and limit range. Scale, limit range, result. Analysis and findings. The reliability of the scale was evaluated for 23 questions defined on the 5-point Likert scale. In this context, the Cronbach alpha coefficient was calculated, which is frequently used as the measurement for internal consistency. It is used to explain or question the homogeneous structure of the items in the scale. According to Yıldız and Uzunsekal, the scale with alpha height value is interpreted as consistent with each other. According to alpha value is calculated with the following formula. In this context, K number of items, sigma yi variance of the item in the total sample, sigma is x variance of the total text score. Within the scope of this study, it was calculated as alpha 0.964 for a total of 23 questions present on the 5-point Likert scale. In the literature, according to Bernardi, measurement with alpha value of 0.70 and above are considered reliable. Taking the value of 0.70 can be said that the scale is reliable as the limit value. The question with high importance as a result of the survey and the total result of all questions are shown in Table 3. When the survey is analyzed, survey questions that are of high importance 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 14, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 are determined Table 3. Table 3 Relative Importance Index. Average of the results. Sigma average sigma, average sigma square, sigma y square. The points to be specified within the scope of construction contracts in return for condo unit. Table showing the scope of the work, the parties and contract addresses, the sharing rates, the start date of the work, the completion time of the work, the extension of the work, the technical specification and the site lists of the work, which package were programmed to use, force majeure, delay penalty, guarantee, till date transfer stage. It is the authorization of the consultancy firm to make an auto on behalf of the owner of the land. At this point, the landowner should add a decision to the contract to prevent the problems in the construction works in return for the condo unit. This decision is a certain percentage of the cost of the work to be done by the developer should be kept as collateral during the working period. The problems between the landowner and the developer pose a risk to construction's quality safety. Although the security of the buildings is not affected due to developers, the anxiety of sale of the units concerned from time to time its causes to use of other material used in the structure in the low segment and a reduction of life the structure. At this point, the landowner can secure himself with a comprehensive technical specification as an attachment to the contract, or landowner must put a minimal technical specification in the contract attachment, depending on the contractor's sale policy. These risks also continue as a result of the sale of independent parts of the landowner, which fold their shares to the third parties. The material used in the structure in the low segment cause the life of the structure to decrease. Thank you.